What is going on, guys? We're back here with another video on the old little Miata, lifted Miata. Today we are going to be working on the top. Currently I have it parked in the carport just so that if it does happen to rain, it doesn't get too wet sitting there. So I want to fix that so I can get it out of the carport. But check it out, guys. This is our new top right here. Not too bad of a quality as far as for 200 bucks. This is the, I believe it's the Sierra top, if I'm not mistaken. I'll link it in the description, but it's about 200 bucks. Comes with this, what's that? Got plastic glass, I assume. But taking a quick look at the old top, at least, pretty sure this was aftermarket too, the one that was on the car. But kind of taking a look at the way this is constructed versus what I have. I'm gonna give you guys a quick rundown and then I'll put you on a time lapse. So, obviously if you are planning to do this, as you can see, the top is already off the car. Now, my Miata was pretty much gutted, so I didn't have any carpets or any real plastic trims in the way of me getting access to the holes. The 3 bolts pretty much that hold the main hinges, and then I think it was like 10 little nuts that kind of go along the back portion of the trunk area that keep the top in place. So if you do need to see that, I'm sure you can find another video, but at least I'm gonna try to give you a quick rundown of what to do when it comes to just replacing the fabric of the top, which is pretty easy by the looks of it. It's not too hard. First things first, obviously you get it off the car. As you can see, get that off the car. This now, I have been kind of keeping it out on the sun a little bit so it can kind of stretch out on its own and get a little more flex out of it. But more than likely, once it is on the new frame, it will require some time for this to kind of flex and get into shape, because the last thing you want to do is force it and then you end up ripping a section of the new top. Because let's be honest, I don't think you guys want to do this more than once. But just be cautious when you're installing the brand new top onto the car and making sure everything kind of fits, because it might take a few days worth of playing around with it to really get it to sit perfectly and not rip it in the process. But real quick, taking a look at the old top, as you can see, it is off the ground. This is the passenger side, that's the driver's side. Obviously when it's on the proper position, it'll be in the right side. But real quick look. So first things first, what I did here is we had these like these, and then these were along this slot, and in here got my little helper there, little puppy. But first things first, we had 2 Phillips head right at the very tip here by the latch. Get out my way. You take those 2 Phillips out, and then you can just carefully, you know, not pry it, but just pull this off this groove thing that it's in. So you put that to the side, right next to the 2 Phillips. And then we had this metal thing here, which is being held by 3 other Phillips there. Take it out, boom. Now we have 3 of those, right? There's another middle section here in the middle, which is this one. Same thing, nothing's holding this other than the groove, so you can just carefully pull this out. And then you got 2 Phillips for the middle one. And then on this one right here, we have this big one, which mine had a couple of looks like just clips holding it in place, but I just pulled it from this end and it just came off with the clips. So just kind of be cautious of that. And then same thing, metal bracket there. Get out the way. Jesus, dog. And then you have 3 Phillips screws holding it in place. Now, there's gonna be one thing. Oh, you can't see me. So there's one thing that if you're not ready for, you will run into a problem, and that is the very back section here. So this actually has, as you can see, oh, come on. So there's 2 rivets that hold the fabric in the back. Now you can potentially, I guess, why are you eating the top? You're lucky it's the old one. Anyways, there's 2 rivets, and potentially what you can probably do is just get a small nut and screw about the size of that, about what's that, 1/4 inch, 1/2 inch, and just cut this out of the way. Cut these 2 out and then just put nut and bolt, or if you happen to have a rivet gun, you can just re-rivet it. So just keep that in mind. But yeah, you take it out and then this starts to come off. Right, that kind of sits like that, comes off. There's a little strap here that's in there. We take that off. So you can see on this side, they kind of strap it onto that frame there that comes, boom, it's a little strap. So you take that off, and then you just kind of keep peeling it. You're gonna have a wire here. Stop. Dodo head, can you stop? Anyways, you're gonna have a wire here. Now this side is riveted on, the one in the front. Obviously you don't want to take that off, but if you kind of follow the wire, it goes around here. It comes up right around the curve of the top, and then it goes through this frame back here, and then it's up here. Kablow! Sits right on that nut there. Well, you probably can't see it. I don't know. Can you see it? Right there. That baby. Right, it goes in there. Obviously, this is a wire, so it's gonna have some tension, but it's up there. Hope you can see it. So the next thing is, you have one big bracket that goes along the very top. You just take the Phillips out of the way, that comes off, and then the top itself starts coming out. And as you can see, pretty much the top is already loose. Now I am gonna figure out a way to get this wire off of this, which looks like there's a small opening there. So I think maybe I can just make it a little bit bigger, and then I'll be able to take the spring out of this so I can feed the wire a little better through this groove, and then I'll reattach this. But I'm gonna do it carefully because the last thing I wanna do is break this. So just wish me luck, guys. And then you obviously gotta do that on both sides. And then the last thing you have to do is this. So if you've ever worked with fabric, usually they have these edges that basically kind of fit in a groove. So this goes along this way, so you can see the bar is all kind of bent. So this goes into this groove that is basically in here, right? And you kind of get it to sit in the groove. Give it a quick tuck to kind of make sure that it's on the little edge. And then basically, since I pried this whole lip up, what I'm gonna do is just kind of give it a quick hammer down. Just hammer it down back into shape to kind of keep it tight, and it should keep it in. See? It's pretty much in the groove, so that's the plan. So you gotta do that to this side here, the first one, the middle one, and also the back one, which I haven't done yet. So we'll do that now. Get the rest of this top off. We'll clean the frame, and then we'll go ahead and put the new top on. It should be pretty easy, guys. So tripod time. Alright guys, so as you can see, the top is now off the frame. And the next thing I'm gonna do is just kind of wipe it down, clean it up a little bit because it's kind of dirty. And I want to make sure that at least the new top is going into a semi-clean frame, even though we're gonna probably get it dirty anyways. But at least I feel a little better if I know it's clean the first time around at least, right? But real quick, as you can see, we got both the metal wires just kind of sticking out on the sides there. And what I might end up doing is finding some sort of like a coat hanger or something metal that I can kind of attach this end onto the end of the coat hanger, and then I can gently pull it through the convertible, through the opening that I need this to come out of. That way I'm not shoving it in and then forcing it in with something. I'd rather be able to pull it towards the actual opening that I need it to come out of. So I'll show you guys what that's gonna look like once I'm on that step. But first, I'm gonna clean this off camera, get it ready for the new top, and we should be good to go there. So yeah, let's do that real quick and we'll be back. Real quick, for those of you who are gonna definitely struggle with this a little bit, so that wire that we have to feed through this section here, the hole that's there, so that it can come out through here and then go through there. So this here, at least with this top, it was pretty sealed. So I basically had to, which I recommend you guys do it, take the time, and before you actually try and install the top, just take the time to kind of open up that channel so that you can feed either, what would work best in my opinion would be like a metal hanger wire, just because, you know, you can basically make it a straight tip, feed it through, and then have it stick out the other side, and then you can kind of make a little hook with that hanger wire, and then basically do what I did here, but instead of using the speaker wire, you use the hanger tip, and then you make a little hole, you feed the metal wire through, that way it can come out the front, since that's where the metal wire is. Make your little hook, and then you can back feed it all the way with the either metal wire or some sort of string. I used speaker wire because it was pretty rigid, so I used the 2-1. It was rigid enough for me to slowly feed it through the hole, and then I just cut one end off to kind of give it a little more room, and then tie the knot and just, you know, gently pull it all the way in. So simple enough, wasn't too hard. So I suggest you do that. And then as far as this top goes, we obviously have to put this back in place, zip tie it, well, velcro it in, then this one goes in into the groove like a typical fabric thing. Same thing for the one in the front, which I kind of did already. It's holding, so that's good. But basically, you know, wrap it around the lip here, which is this one that's all metal looking for this one, and then this one had its own, and then kind of press it down. I was able to press it down with my fingers, so I didn't really need like a hammer or pliers, but I might go back and just give it a couple of love taps with a rubber mallet, just to kind of get it a little closer and keep it from potentially popping out. As far as the Sierra top goes, so now that I've fed that, basically this kind of goes in here, boom boom, to the edge, and then we have this plastic looking trim that's perforated. There you go, it's perforated. So you bend that in place, and then when you put the little bracket that goes in the front, you'll see your openings there, wherever they are. Another one there and there, and that will keep it in place, and then you can kind of start your stretching process. But it's not too hard, guys. It's just, it takes a little time. That's all, just a little time. All right, guys, so I actually got the top done the next day, and check her out. She is now installed, looking good on the car. And it's been out on the sun stretching. So, real quick, let me show you the inside, guys, real quick, so you see what's going on. But, ooh, so we got the top in. I don't know, I'm pretty sure this is not installed properly, but it works. But pretty much, well, actually it might be, because I'm pretty sure the carpet clips on here, but it might be upside down. I don't know, whatever. It works right now. As you can see, we are missing a few nuts because this one was missing nuts when I first got it, so I do have to get some replacement nuts for certain sections there. For example, there's missing one, that's missing one, and then I put one in the edges to kind of hold it in place. But check it out. So that's still in there, clipped on as it should be. The little edges that I was talking about with the fabric stuff. So is this one. Now when I installed it, keep in mind guys, this right here, you can actually adjust it. So at first, right now I have it in the loose position. That way it's not pulling on the top as much as it could potentially pull on it. So it's a little bit loose. Now I probably wouldn't recommend driving with the top this loose. This has a little Mickey Mouse Velcro here because I guess this doesn't really work as it should. But yeah, so it's on the loose position. Right now it's very loose. I can definitely tighten the adjuster here to make it a little closer on the edges. But yeah, you kind of gotta feel it out as you go, because as you know, it's a brand new fabric, so you're basically trying to stretch it out over time. That way it doesn't rip anything and it seals properly. So just keep that in mind. So it's been about, I want to say about a day and a half that the car's been out on the sun with the top in the closed position and fully bolted on, other than the missing nuts in the back. The bracket is still pretty much tight, so we're not too worried about it anyways. But been about a day and a half, so now I'm gonna start the process of basically making these a little tighter. That way we get a nicer gap here, like kind of make sure that there's no wind noise, because I can almost guarantee if I was to drive this car, we would hear some of that wind noise. So we'll make this a little tighter just to make sure we don't have that problem. But more than likely, when we actually use this car, the top is going to be down anyway, so I'm not too worried about it, like I said. But yeah, I mean, patience is definitely key when it comes to doing this, because it can get very annoying very quickly, especially when you're dealing with these sections here, and also when you're feeding that metal wire along the edge here. And then this bracket, I actually did it. Don't do that when you're under the sun, because I was trying to do it under the sun and I was burning up and I was getting frustrated. So I put the car back under the carport and actually worked on the bracket, and it made it 10 times easier as far as the overall condition. But you know, I thought it was going to be quick, and it ended up not being as quick as I thought. So, but other than that, it's pretty easy to do, obviously. Like, as you know guys, this is going to be more of an off-roader type deal, so we're not too worried about being absolutely perfect. So the frame obviously does show its age, but other than that, I don't really care. It's what it is. I think now the last thing left in this car is going to be, I'm gonna get a power steering pump for it, because the power steering pump is leaking. It wasn't just the rack, it's definitely the pump. So we're going to replace that before we do anything with the car, because I don't want to have to keep filling the actual power steering reservoir. But we'll fix that. Should be a cheap fix. I don't think it was that much. We'll put some new belts while we're at it, and then have some fun with it. But we'll work on that in the background. Once it's ready to go, hopefully here in the next month, we can kind of figure a day to go hit some trails and have a little fun with it. And then once we get our first day out, the next step is going to be to figure out a couple of things with the car, as far as like, I think I want a radio. So I'm going to get something working here with the radio. Obviously this is useless at this point because there's no vents. I don't even know if it works really, but screw it, we don't need that. So we'll figure something out, guys. We'll figure something out. I'm sure we will. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Do you know this car has, looks like 342,000 miles? That's nutty. That is nuts. Look at that. Look at that. I'm not lying. Or at least the cluster says this car has 342,000 miles. That is wild, if that's true. That is pretty wild. I'm pretty sure that's the cluster. I'm gonna look in the title and see what the last registered mileage was on this car, but that's serious. And it doesn't really look like it's got, well, not anymore, at least before it definitely looked like it had some age to it, but for 342,000 miles, it's not too shabby. She still has some life left in her, so let's have some fun with it. Anyways, guys, this is gonna be it for this video. I hope somebody found this top video useful somewhere down the road. Look what I did with my little rivets. Instead of using the rivets, I went ahead and used some zip ties. Cause you know, turbo life, we got zip ties all over the place. We used some zip ties and that seemed to work out well for me. I would recommend probably either re-rivet it or some nuts and bolts, but hey, zip ties did the job, so I'm gonna roll with it. That's about it, guys. I'm gonna get some tints so I can tint the side windows, because I kind of like the look of it versus an open glass look. At least when it's parked, it looks nice, you know. Other than that, the windows are gonna be down more than likely. But yeah, not too bad for the top. Top quality so far is holding out good for the 2 days that it's been on the car. We'll see what it does in the next year or two as far as weather and stuff like that. I'm probably gonna get a car cover for it just so I can cover it when it's not in use. That way the sun isn't just beating on the paint and on the rhino liner, on the top, on the interior and stuff like that. We'll kind of preserve it a little bit. So we'll get a car cover, so kind of like how the one in the back is covered back there, which that tends to fly out every couple of days. So we'll get a proper car cover for this car. That way we don't have the same problem as we have on the other Miata that we have on the channel. So anyways, we're gonna get busy with the last couple of things that we got going on, and then once it's fully done, we'll give you one final update video, and we'll go on a trail on the same video more than likely. That way we start doing some stuff with this car, and then I'm debating what car to work on next. Really, I don't know yet. The Evo's pretty much done. We can just have some fun with that, but as you know, I'm not trying to break that car right away. Other than that, I think I'm gonna start working on the M3 actually. That's gonna be the next set of videos on the M3, because I want to get it ready so I can do some autocross with that car. That's gonna be the plan for that. It's gonna be autocross / daily duties for a bit, because the Challenger, I'm gonna go ahead and stop dailying it for a little bit. That way I can fix a couple of things on the Challenger, and then we'll see what else we end up buying down the road, guys. But anyways, thanks for watching the video. I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.